Efrat, I am so happy to have you with me here again today. And this is all about your new book that you have just released and the promises we made, the three universal soul promises we made to our children by, and this is your first book?
Yes, this is my first book.
Yes, and a very powerful book it is, stemming from you had a very tragic car accident, a near-death experience, and you had left three children, youngsters at home. And this is a story of that love for your children and that powerful bond that pulls you through, like as you say in the book, your body was a mess and you had come back, but it was that strength of a mother's love for her children that you returned and did your healing journey so you could be with them, parenting, be their mother, and be there for them growing up. And this book, it's not just that story of your accident in your life and what it was trying to recover, but you had profound experiences that you gathered lessons and wisdoms and insights, and you also shared those in your book along with the tools to help other parents so they too can tap into that essence of the love that we have for our kids and the knowing that that will pull you through all sorts of adversities, and the tools you use for your healing and resources that they can also tap in. So where do we begin?
I'll begin by showing the book. I'm so excited
Oh,
to show it.
yay!
It's
There,
I
yes,
feel the cover illustrator captured the energy, and I'm so proud of it.
yes, that is
Um,
beautiful.
and I'll add that I'm really happy to chat with you because we always have deep conversations. So it's wonderful to be here.
Yes, and I was just talking to you earlier. You didn't realize that I too
Yeah.
was involved in a car accident and experienced that same thing. Like I was kind of given the options, if this was too much, that you could pass on. But it was that deep love that for my son and bond that I wanted to be there for him growing up. And it's a very powerful force. And that's what I'm hoping that we can share with other parents out there, that
Yeah.
you do have that essence within you. And you speak of the three kind of pillars that you um, use to in parenting, of the truth, living your truth, the attentiveness and
Yeah.
motion of love.
Yeah. A
So do you want to?
surprising one.
Yes, yes. Do you want to
Yeah.
explain
So
a little bit more?
Yeah, so I'll take a step back. I think as you experienced in your car crash and was a young child at home, and as I experienced in my car crash and near-death experience, and we had different injuries, but we each had injuries. Mine were multiple injuries all over, internal, broken bones, everything you can think of, and it's in within that invitation, the motivation to heal, to stay, to recover, to become our best selves, and to become our essence was my daughters, your son, and I think a lot of people experience this. motivation, hopefully without fatal car crashes and all kinds of broken bones. But our children offer us, I guess, a path, a doorway, invitations. Some people relate to them as triggers. I intentionally use the word invitations because they invite us to grow with them in
Yes.
that shared journey, as
Yeah.
you I experienced.
That
So
that love of our children, it you want to be the best for your child as they're growing up so that they too, it's like we're the role models, we're the guides, and
I think that's part of what I understood along my journey. And it was all a journey. Nothing was clear immediately. It was all a process of integrating, of finding my way, until I could share it in a clear way in the book. But it's uh, it's more than the motivation to be our best selves. Our children, to my understanding, to everything, with everything that I know, make a choice which parents they choose to come to. And in that choice, and in the book, I share those three universal promises which we relate to, and I can talk about them in a minute: truth, attentiveness, and demotion. Demotion is really important. Um, in that choice, they they know who we are, and they choose a personality and our lifestyle, and they know that they may come to us also, and that we might not teach them what they need to do, but actually challenge them, because we will offer the opposite perspective, or the challenge to release and change, and let go of all the paradigms. But they have that trust in our essence. They have the trust in our potential. They have the trust that we can become the parents that would be the best parents for them. And what's the best parent for each child, that's different, because one child needs to be needs their mom or their dad very close by and always involved, and some children actually need more independence, and it's a different, because it's a different path, so there's no perfect motherhood or perfect fatherhood or a perfect way. It's what's perfect for you and your child, and becoming that promise, becoming the promise is about walking who we are. The promise is about doing our best to heal everything we can heal in our family lines, and in our energy, and in our lifestyle, and all layers of existence, so that we would be what we can be. Because when we are what we can be, they can be who they are. They don't have to adjust to our needs. They don't have to please us. They don't have to be quiet so we won't get angry. They can just be, because we are, so they can be as well.
so beautifully put, and that each child is very unique, and as they be who they are meant to be, and that
Yeah,
and
life would be boring if we were all the same, you know? And we need all types of beings. We need different qualities. We need different abilities to function as a positive, good society. Sometimes we take that into confusion and not for the good, but what even within the good, we need the variety. The variety is a blessing. Um, so as long as each one of us walks our essence, and I believe that's what I wanted for my daughters. That's what I want for every child I meet, every child in the world. Um, and as I was looking for ways to become my daughter's mother, because of my injuries, because of the very long recovery, I was not participating in any of the doing.
yeah,
And I was really frustrated by that. I could let go of any definitions that I was holding, but I wanted to be my daughter's mom. But I wasn't their mom as I defined motherhood at that time. Now,
yeah,
I don't judge myself, because, three little babies, um, you're doing the laundry, you're making food, you're cleaning up after them, you're changing diapers, you're putting the toys away, you help them on the carpet. It's like, it's an ongoing, you don't really have a time to take that breath and be. But but it defined me. And that's not what defines motherhood. It's part of it, but it's not the definition. The motherhood is defined in the very core um, um, foundational choice and trust for us to guide them, and not guide them just in our human self, in the acts of our human self, but in our energy. And that's when we become our essence and we guide them as well.
And
Um,
what keeps coming to mind is the motherly love. That it's different than other types of love, and the motherly love, and you can feel that in it's someone that you you put their needs and cares above your own, like
yeah.
you're dedicated and devoted to bringing them up.
Yeah. And it's the most beautiful journey there is,
Yeah.
because they constantly grow, they constantly change. They wake up. I'm at the stage when my twins wake up and they're actually taller in the morning. Everything constantly changes, and that invites us to observe and adjust and observe and transform and look at their invitations and grow with them. We can't stay behind. It's not like many other types of journeys when, even my healing, the physical healing journey, which you can relate to too. um, I could choose to look at the positive, at the full part of the cup. I could choose to do my exercises once I was able to start moving and become stronger. But I could also choose not to.
Yeah.
It is a choice. When we choose to heal, it's a choice. So we have that life force within us often pushing us, but at some point, the life force will not push us. It's our choice to take responsibility over. For me, it was about learning how to eat, learning how to walk, learning how to adjust my body. I had a lot of work, but I had to do it, and it because or I chose to do it because I knew it was part of the process of really becoming their mom, becoming a present in
Yeah.
their lives. But when children grow up, we don't have that. It's not a, it's we can't stay behind. If we stay behind, we disconnect. We disconnect. And we sadly see that often. Parents and children that are disconnected just because the kids grew up and the parents were not aligning themselves. And when I say aligning, it's not about giving up your career or giving up what's important for you. It's just about growing together, constantly growing together.
Yeah. Well, the lessons you can learn from them as you're being a mom or a parent, and the growth and the different stages they're going through, and you'll find within yourself things to be able to meet their needs, and to be able to open, I say, new worlds to them, like as they're finding their way in the world, and you're opening worlds to them, and just I say, like, the potential in them, or that they can be what they're meant to be, and but it's you'll find it within yourself to
And the
grow, as you
beauty,
say, grow with them, and be their guide. And
yeah, and the beauty about this is that we open up to this shared journey, and we're not just about providing them with their needs and even observing and creating the condition they need. It's always mutual. So it's also about the condition that we need to become. And they often reflect that to us. Often when a child needs something, some needs are about them and some needs are about inviting us. In my practice, there's so many children that the parent calls because there is some issue that they have not managed to resolve in other ways. And they say, okay, let's try shamanic practices. Let's go for the weird stuff. And they call me, and what we find, and I always work with the parents first, because I don't find it right to work with a child before the parent experienced the healing modality and can explain the child what it is. And I also find that a lot of the things we can work with the parents, and then we don't need to work with the child. But it's often what when we look at the greater picture, the perspective, it's about the children bringing their parents to a healing session. So the parent would do their work. And it's very interesting. And when we look at, I look at a lot of invitations that my daughters bring, and it's often about me learning another piece of a healing modality or opening my eyes to something. And I see that I have this group of teens that I work with, and they are my greatest teacher, this group. And they challenge me, and they really, really challenge me. But what are these challenges? They are gifts to me so that I would grow. And they can't take no for an answer. So it's but that's a process. So it's I think that when we embrace, and that's one of the greatest learnings I came back with, that understanding that it's not just me on a journey. I'm on a journey. You're on a journey. Everyone is on a journey. My daughters are on a journey. Small as they are, they're huge souls. They're not small anymore, but they were babies then, but they were huge souls in a dependent body. So when we look at that baby that is not talking yet, and it needs our help with almost everything, and we realize, oh, that's actually a soul adjusting to living on earth, or a being adjusting living to earth on earth, then it's there is respect, there is listening, there is observing, and then the journey becomes a shared journey, and not just letting them grow up and become independent and letting them go into the world and having no communication with them.
Yes, yes, and that's very well put. And that it's even like the miracle of birth. Like you cannot explain that.
Yeah.
You know, a new life comes into the world. It's truly a miracle. And as you say, it's that soul or being trying to find their way in the world, and that they've been brought to you, and to care and let them develop and grow
and stay who they are. I think that's part of the promises that I share about. It's about the understanding when birth is magical, and this whole process, when we look at it, it's unbelievable. And what souls and beings are going through in order to experience earth. But then we try to put them into a box. And I went through these mistakes myself as a mom, until I learned what I learned, and I started to adjust and really observe. And I probably still make those mistakes without, because I'm learning and I'm growing with my daughters all the time. We take the kids away from their truths. We tell them, now you're going to sleep. Now you're not going to sleep. This is what you're going to eat. This is not what you're going to eat. You have to like the apple, or your brother didn't like the apples, so there are no apples, or eat the apple in a certain way, not another way. And it's like tiny things, and you look at them and say, oh, we can dismiss this one. We can dismiss this one. This is not important. This is not important. But we're actually communicating to the babies, to those souls, trying to figure out who they are and managing the world, but also staying true to who they are. Your truth doesn't matter. So, so you want to go to sleep now? No, but we want to keep you awake because daddy's coming back late from work, or we want to have you sleep now or awake in a different time because we want to play or have quiet time with your older brother or sister, which these are really complicated situations. Again, no judgment, but we take them away from their truth. And truth is very subjective, your truth, my truth. But when you and I connect and we work with healing ourselves, then we have the same truth. And think about all the adults that you and I know that are doing so much work in order to align to their essence, to find what their truth is. We can probably, if we nourish this truth at early stages and give the kids the example of our truth, then just imagine how the world would be different.
I'm just seeing the kids blossoming and it's a beautiful thing. So this was uh, you talked about the three promises. There was the truth and
Yes, so
attentiveness
effectiveness and
and
emotion.
motion of love. So do you want to speak of those other two?
Yeah, so I think we understand what truth is, at least its very, very essence of cultivating and nourishing the conditions that our child needs, and each child will need different conditions so that they stay true to who they are and they can listen to who they are. You say even those little pieces of not making the decisions for a child, but asking them. That doesn't mean there is no discipline or order. You may ask your child and still make a different decision, but you talked about it with a child and you explain why your decision is different. Or so there is communication and respect and grows together. Attentiveness is about very basic, just being able to hear our own hearts. So they are born and they know their truth. They can listen. And it's okay for a baby to flap their hands and look in the sky and talk with the angels and talk with the beings that are around them. And there are beings around every baby until we tell them it's not real. Or the monster under the bed, which is a frightened entity, is not real. So they disconnect from that connection. So many kids are not connected to nature, and this is something you know more than I do. Mother Earth, a place where they can just be attentive, and Mother Earth and nature just clears energetic noise. So you can hear yourself. That's what we experience as adults. And for kids, it is so natural to be in those states of being attentive. Some children like to play alone and they don't need the friends all around because they're in their imagination and they're journeying and being in various dimensions while playing. But then parents are occupied by the limiting beliefs that every child needs to have a large social group, which is kids need communication. Children need communication. It's good to have good friends, but it's not about, but it's also really important to know how to play alone and be by yourself and just connect. Or kids gaze. I had more than one parent connect me for deep work because their child gazes and they want their child to be active in the world. Now we can ask, we can ask. So some kids are not able to manifest because earthly life is so overwhelming for them. And then indeed interventions can help them be present. But being present doesn't mean you're all the time in doing and after school activities and running from one thing to another. Or
All
it's also,
structured.
yes, it's also about just, gazing, closing your eyes, journeying. Um, and there's so many ways in which children are just attentive, but we take that attentiveness from them. We see them doing nothing, and you're patting your cat, and that's an amazing act of being. So some families, many families, you can be with your animals, you can be outside, but so many kids are not given that opportunity of just connection with no expectations, just love, just
Yeah.
love of the four-legged.
Yeah.
And so it's about cultivating that attentiveness, and it's maybe even before cultivating, it's about not standing in their way, allowing it, also giving them the example of saying, now mom is meditating. Now mom has her quiet time. You can sit by me, you can be around, let's go out to nature and let's connect. There's so many tools, and mindfulness is going into schools now, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's so it needs to happen when they're born. It starts when they're born, and the type
And
of environment
also
that we create.
in ourselves, like when we can tune in to our
Yes.
intuitions, to that tiny voice, to that, the quiet place within, and um when you're tuned in, and as I say, living your essence, and they're freer to do that too. And it's there's so much noise out in the world. It's often very hard to stop and tune in, and
But we need to return because that's part of who we are. And when we tune in, we also awake our kindness. And when we tune in, we awake our knowing and we awake our compassion. And we remind ourselves of the love that we are. And when it's all noisy and we are addicted to the stress, we take away. Stress is not a real essence. Calmness, attentiveness, connectedness, that's our real essence. So it's and yes, we have to do that. We have to find those ways within us, and it's beautiful because in pregnancy, so many moms connect to their intuition, to their knowing. And it's like it's preparing you to just it's opening the door. It's making the changes that you need. It's preparing you for motherhood also in that aspect of connecting, of knowing, of trusting what you know about your child. Your child trusts you and then trusting them. But for that, we need to listen. And we and life, it's a in current modern life, it needs to be a conscious choice. It
yes,
needs to be a conscious choice.
and that. And one thing I found too, like with that, the bond between the mother and child, I found like there's, you'd call it like psychic, but when your child's in trouble, even if you're not seeing them, or you feel it,
Yeah, and it's
within you.
amazing because moms that adopted children have that same psychic knowing because it's often that child shows those adoptive parents or that child shows that step parent. There is a really important and deep connection of choice, even if in those parenting and significant adults, and even sometimes with teachers that um, that happen because of that soul choice and soul connection. And then those people can have that intuition and knowing just as a birth mother can.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And the third promise talks about motion. And I remember like when it was downloaded and I was starting to realize it, I said, but is this a promise? And yes, it is maybe the most important promise. And there are actually a few more, but that would be in the next book. Um, um, it's our energy. As soon as we make that choice, conscious choice to find our way back to ourselves, to shed, to heal, to work with our stuff so that we can be the parents that our child chose, a potential to give them that example. Often we carry so much baggage from so many lifetimes and so many family stuff, and it takes time. It doesn't happen at once. But that mere first step communicates to our children, I'm walking, I'm trying, I'm in the motion of love. And that communication gives children the permission to hold on to who they are and not start, not saying, okay, I'm giving up. I'm going to adjust myself to how this world works and I'll be a good kid so my mom or dad would be happy.
Yeah.
As soon as and it's not something they're aware of in their earthly physical reality. It's an energetic communication. And it's often we become aware of it, and we usually notice first the unaligned moments.
Mm.
All those moments when I shouldn't take this extra bite, but the food is really yummy, so I'm taking it. I shouldn't drink that glass of wine, but I am. I shouldn't answer the phone now because I'm reading a story, but I do look at the phone. And it's like so many small unaligned moments in our lives, and we have so many of them. And because of that noise, it's really, we don't live in a bubble. And but as soon as we start these unaligned moments, we also can start accumulating one soul moment of alignment to our truth. And it's really in those small decisions and huge decisions, life decisions, um, regardless of how big the decision is, as we start going into that process, we already provide the legitimacy of to our children to stay who they are. And this legitimacy prolongs, it gives us space and time to work our stuff. Um, you know, even near-death experience, people say, oh, that's an initiation. Whoop, you've changed. Well, no, I had to heal my body, and that took years. I had to understand what the near-death experience invited. I needed to find the words to talk about it. I needed to integrate it, and then I needed to integrate them both, and then I needed to understand how it affects my parenting. It was a process of a few years. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen. So it's about accumulating, but I was accumulating those soul moments. And the beauty, Patrice, is that when you have a soul moment, you feel the divine love
Yes.
of of
That's
of the
that's
of other dimensions.
giving me goosebumps there. Just that you feel
So
that.
yeah, and I was really, that was a thread that was leading me. I wanted my daughters to feel that love without having to go through any traumatic out of body experience. I wanted them to know what it is, and for me to give that gift to my daughters, I needed to create the conditions: truth, attentiveness, motion, a lot of healing, find my essence, and be observant, and create the conditions and they each need, so that they would be their essence. Because when they're at their essence and when they're aligned, they have those soul moments. And when they have those soul moments, they feel that divine love. So it's not about their mom's story. It's about a feeling, a sense that in our communication is also very much anchored in them. And in my other team clients, it's an anchored feeling of knowing when I'm aligned, because I feel joy, deep, deep joy, and I feel wholeness, and things, just align. That synchronicity starts coming into play, and they see it happening, and it's all because they listen, they follow their truth, and they have a mom that is in constant motion. So, and they accumulate those soul moments. And I look from the side, and I'm deeply grateful for that gift, because that was my promise to them before they chose me, that they would become their essence. They trusted me, and I'm doing everything I can. And it's hard work. It's hard work because I work on healing every aspect of myself, my family. And you think you're done, and something else comes up. Yeah, it's like, and
Yep.
okay, so I embrace it. And I do my best to work things out so that they will need to work their own things out and not work things out for all of us.
Yes. Yes. And that I love that, with that, the gratitude that comes about when everything is just energetically aligning, and like more miracles. It's like it'll just amaze me, but it's also that deep gratitude to feel that yes, there's love and joy and
And
energy.
it's possible. And
Yes.
it's possible. It's like we're programmed to think about wounding and about hardship and about challenges. But epigenetics also, it shows us we can change our lifestyle, we can change our perspective, and then maybe not go through a car crash and a near-death experience, and embrace who we are and walk ourselves. And what one of my hopes with the book is, I could tell my story, but it's not about my story. The story is just at the beginning, and then with a lot of examples from our lives and a lot of tools versus exercises and weaved in my sharing. But the intention is I did my best, and I hope I managed to write it in a way that my readers will be able to take it into their lives, into their life event, and the invitation they received, which were probably different than mine, and then apply it to who they came here to be and embrace their beauty, because we're all beautiful in our essence.
That, and I think you have with your book there that the way you've written and presented that the it gives the tools and actions so that people can implement that and bring it into their lives. And
I hope for that.
To me, it's so much more than just the story, and it's that sharing those wisdoms and insights, giving them tools, as you say, so that parents can bring it into their lives and let them feel their truth, have that attentiveness and motion of love. That's very interesting. So, and you can find the promise we made, the universal soul promises we made with our children on Amazon, and it's in other bookstores too, or?
So for now, it's only on Amazon. There is a technical delay, but it will be on other bookstores as well. And within a few days, I hope people will also be able to order it into their small bookstores. I love small bookstores. Yes. So anybody who likes have a small bookstore they can support, then I would love you to wait a few more minutes, a few more days, and then order it to your small bookstore. That would be amazing as well. That's happening within those days. That should be available very, very soon.
So yes. I would hope folks would go look for that, the promise we made, and I will put a link in the description. So
beautiful. Thank you.
Find it, and I hope that it brings many more parents and children on the path, letting them be their true essence and enjoy that love and joy.
And journey. Thank you so much, Patrice. It's fun talking, and until we talk again.
Yeah, it's all right. And
thank you.
Thank you. All right. Just end.